I'm doing it. Finally, I'm asking for a raise. If I can't get that raise, I quit. If I can't get the raise, I quit. That's what I'm saying. If I can't, I want a raise. If I don't get it, I quit. Yeah, so my day job let me go. So I'm gonna need a raise in order to cover that cost. You think we could talk about that? I thought this was your day job. I want a raise. The guy that works in the office in the corner, yeah, he makes $165,000 a year. That's the CEO of the company. He makes whatever he wants. Shit. What's going on, guys? Josh here, onfocus.com. That is my website. I should start saying that because that's where I have all the good. So there's a few things that you need to consider when you're gonna ask for a raise. Number one, how long have you been at the job? If you've been at the job for 3 months, you can't ask for a raise. You should have done that in the negotiation period of whatever job that you were applying for, and when they gave you the offer, that was your moment to hit that counter offer, even if they say, we don't do counter offer anyways, and if they say no still, like, you know, maybe they're bluffing, who knows? But that was your moment. Otherwise, you're gonna have to wait for your quarterly, yearly, annual review. I said that twice, but that's when they're gonna look at your performance. And if you've only been there for 3 weeks, your moment to negotiate that was 3 weeks ago. Number two, total revenue that you've brought the company, the value that you've brought the company. So have you been there for 6 months? Do you have prior experience? What's the value? What's the money in the company's pocket that you have brought to them? Are you just joining this company? Have you been there? You know, is this your first job with the skill set that you're using, or do you have prior experience? Because chances are, if this is the first job it's the first time you're using the skills that whatever the job brought you on for, and they're having to bring you up to speed and have to train you on these things, chances are you haven't brought them a lot of value, and they've actually spent a lot of money on you, bringing you up to speed, knowing that you're not going to produce that much value. This is pretty common with junior jobs. Not to say that people can't ramp up really fast, but chances are, if this is your first job and they're training you, you haven't brought them that much value yet. So it's hard to ask for a raise. Now, if you landed someone a $10 million contract, $1 million contract, and that was from you staying up all night one day, and they couldn't have got that without you, maybe you'd have a shot at going in and asking for a raise. Number three, what is the pay like in your local area? So you can't be like, hey, cubicle 4 over there, he makes 10 grand more a year than me. Like, that's not how it works. You gotta go on glassdoor.com, type in your job title, scroll through the results, look for the average pay that's for that job title in your area, and then if it's a lot more than what you're getting paid, then you can be like, yo, this is the average pay in my area, and I think for my salary it's a little bit under. Do you think there's anything we could do about this? I really think that you can't say undervalued. I would just say, like, look, I know that you're getting a deal on me, and I like being here, I like working here, I enjoy working with all the people, I like what I do. I just think that what I'm being paid for what I'm having to do is below market value. So ideally, you want data when you go in to ask for a raise. You want lots and lots and lots of data points. Have you worked overtime a whole lot? Have you taken any sick days? Have you taken vacation? Like, have you had any disciplinary actions? Have they had to sit you down and talk about, well, it looks like you're performing below expectations, and we're gonna have to put you on disciplinary action, and we'll be checking in with you bi-weekly. Like, does that sound too real? Maybe it sounds like I've had one of those conversations. But anyways, have you had a huge win? Were you a part of a huge win? Was the company banking on something that was riding on you, and then you came through with the win, and they're like, yo, nice, Josh, that's a good time to walk in, right? Everyone's spirits are high. And people are, they just got some money probably. It's a good time to go in and just ask for that raise. Another thing, have they put more responsibility on you? Did you walk in one day, you see a letter on your desk that says confidential, you look over to your right, you see your cubicle is empty, and you're like, shit. And then you open the letter, and you're like, Bob from cubicle 5 was let go yesterday due to underperforming because he outsourced his work to 4 developers in India. And then now that work is suddenly on you. That's the thing with salary, right? So when you accept a salary, you can't make more than they just agreed to pay you. You work 80 hours, you make your salary. You work 20 hours, you make your salary. But what are the chances they're going to let you work 20 hours, and what are the chances they're going to let you work 80 hours? Right? So if you're going to do that much more work and take on someone's entire other job role, you should ask. So let's talk about like how you prepare for this. How do you get ready? What do you need? So ideally, this is what you do. You grab a pen and paper like this, and you write down all of those data points that I talked about previously. You need to itemize out everything that you've done. Your sick days, your overtime days, any disciplinary actions, a huge win. Have they put more responsibility on you? Have you taken any vacation? What is the pay in the local area like compared to what you're getting paid? Don't compare yourself to what other people in the office are making. They got theirs because they probably have been there a while, there's some seniority there, or they negotiated their salary better when they got the job offer. Time spent on the job, how long have you been there? Have you not had a review in 2 years? Have they not even looked at that or adjusted to that? And total revenue that you've brought the company, like just straight up, what is your value that you are bringing to the company, and why should they give you more of that value that you're bringing to the company? I mean, that would be my argument. I'd be like, I brought you $10 million. Normally you make $3 million a year. I brought you $10 million this year. I feel like I should probably have a little piece of that. I think that's a decent argument. So how do you actually do it, right? How do you go into the office and how do you ask? There's a few things that you should consider that are just kind of like, I guess maybe they're not obvious, but like Mondays are terrible to ask for anything. Everyone's usually loaded with meetings and all this other stuff that people didn't get done or that they're finishing up. Fridays are usually a good day. Fridays at lunch are even better because usually people are happy at lunch, blood sugar's up, it's a good time to negotiate. That's why people take out other business partners to go eat food, gets your blood sugar up, gets the dopamine going, everything is just great, fantastic. That's a little tip and trick for you there. So when you go in there and you ask them, you're like, hey, can we talk? And you have your data, you got your data sheet ready, you're gonna hand it over to them, you're gonna be like, hey, I wanna talk about a raise. You don't have to answer me right now. This is the thing. You wanna give him time to think about it, right? I wanna talk about a raise. You don't have to get back to me today, you don't have to get back to me right now. Just take a few days and think about it and then just hear me out. And if he says no, I think you have your answer and I don't really know what else to tell you. But chances are he'll probably be like, all right, well, what about it? Or let's talk about my salary or something like that, right? All right, well, what about it? And then you pull out this and you're like, well, I've done some research and I've looked at the data and I've looked at everything that I've done here and the value that I've brought and the amount of sick days that I have, and I haven't taken that many vacation days. I'm always here, no disciplinary actions. And then I started looking at the market value. I looked at other jobs for my position name, and someone mentioned to me this other job and what they're getting paid, and so I started doing a little research, and then I noticed that for people in my position, they're getting paid X percent more, right? And then you can either negotiate right then and there when you say, well, they're getting paid 20% more. Well, you could just make it easier on yourself, be like, they're getting paid 20% more, but I don't necessarily need 20%, maybe like 15 or something, because I really like working here, right? To reiterate, you really like working here, you like bringing the value, all that stuff. Just talk about the value that you bring, right? If you bring more money, they're going to give you more money. That's it. Like, what is your value proposition? And, make sure he has a time to think about it. And then, make sure he has time to think about it. Like, just don't be like, can you tell me right now, or I leave, right? Then he'll probably be like, well, you can just leave and also get your box of stuff, and then you can actually just leave and never come back. Like, probably give him some time to think about it, especially if he has no idea what you're talking about, if it's not like part of a review or anything like that. But if you think that you've done your research, and you think that you have a decent argument, and the value that you're bringing is there, and what you're getting paid is under fair market value, maybe talk to him about that. Maybe if you think you're worth more than fair market value because you're overperforming compared to fair market value, you better have some data points to back that up too. The whole point of this is to note out everything that you've ever done at a job and how you can use that as leverage. Ideally, best case scenario, you have another job in your pocket and you pull that out, but that's like last resort, right? So look, I have another job. They want me to go. They're paying me 30% more than here, and I think I'm gonna take it. But I really like working here. Is there any way we could maybe talk about my salary here? Because I don't necessarily want to go. I really like you guys. I prefer to stay. That's what you can say. I prefer to stay, but the money is just I have bills and stuff. You can just make whatever up, right? Don't lie about this. Because he might call your bluff on it and be like, sorry, there's nothing we can do. And then you're like, shit. Now you can't even talk about the rest of the stuff there. So don't do that. But best case scenario, you have a job offer, you have some real leverage because you can just leave, and you have that, like, what's it called, the FU money, pretty much, right? But usually if you tell them that, they'll probably hit you with a counter offer. But then you have to think about, like, all right, so they're hitting you with a counter offer. Why weren't they paying you that before? Like, if you already valued me at that, why aren't you paying me that? And so now you're waiting till the last second to pay me that. What does that make me think about you as a person? Like, come on. Like, well, we were thinking about going to pay you. We were going to talk about a raise with you soon. Were you? How long were you going to see what you could get away with for, You just have to think about, like, oh, wait, here's a counteroffer. Unless that counteroffer is, like, insane, just think about what they think about you, because, I don't know. Gotta weigh your options there. But the point is, have your data. Have your data, present an argument, give them time to think about it, walk away, and then make a time, like send them an email. Let's chat again on Friday at lunch. That's a good point. Let's chat again at Friday at lunch. Maybe try that out. That's what I would do if I wanted to get a raise, and that's what I've done when I have gone to ask for a raise, and it's like, yeah, we'll talk about it, and they didn't seem very interested, and I was like, well, look, I have a whole bunch of data that I pulled up and XYZ, and they're like, oh, really? Like, because now it's like, you're not just asking for money. It's like, okay, now you have data to back it up, and you can prove this, and if you go tell other people, like, look, this is the market value for what you make, like, man, they don't like that, so they'd probably be willing to talk with you. So anyways, I hope this video has helped you. If it has, go ahead and click that little subscribe button there. I have a whole bunch of links in the description. It'd be awesome if you check those out. They support the channel. There's a whole bunch of resources to learn to code, and different websites, different boot camps, different schools, and there's a link for the Discord down in the description below. Go ahead and click that, join. I will welcome you. I'd like to take this a second here to say thank you to the patrons that support the channel: Flaslow, Aubrey, the Martin Fee, Josh, Craig, Armand, Daniel. I appreciate all you guys. If you ever considered supporting someone's cause on Patreon or some random guy on the internet, my goal is to provide value to you guys, right? All about the value exchange here. And so, maybe if you consider donating to someone, donate to me. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video.